Hi, it's Xavier and welcome to my bonsai retreat. Guess what? We're going to make some oak bonsai ents to join the larch and the hawthorn that I did last year. And for those of you who just aren't aware of that project, best have a look at that. 2 videos already about how I'm going to be making my Lord of the Rings inspired Fangorn style forest and I don't know. But anyway, we've got oaks and they've got splits in their roots. I think they'll make great legs. So I'm going to be getting these all out of the pots. Not necessarily doing much root pruning, but as you see, so far we've just got the buds swelling up. Absolutely ideal time for doing repots of oaks anyway. So let's see if we've got any potential ents in here, shall we? I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that has got a very leg-like look about it. We may struggle with the heads, but when you actually look at Lord of the Rings, if you haven't watched it, the ents there don't have the most obvious of heads, but they do have normally very wavy arms, which we've definitely got in profusion with things like this. So yeah, let's get these out of this soil. Let's just see how much they are there, and maybe I'll just roughly put them as a group into a bigger pot so we can start to imagine what this battlefield will look like.
That's impossible!
Don't know if I can... That could be its head there actually, to be honest. Which means removing either that, probably that, maybe that one. We'll see how this looks. Now truthfully, I only repotted these, I think, last year. So we just see what sort of root growth there's been. Now obviously I'm not wasting what were potentially decent trees. And when I'm talking about decent, I'm meaning this sort of thing where I can definitely get a decent bonsai from it, so long I don't muck it about. But this other stuff, where you've got this root break, absolutely set up ideal for ents. Let me continue to just work this out. What is nice is we've got definitely a nice strong root structure in here. I can see it already. Now, what I am looking to try and do is optimize the ability to keep these looking as legs and try and avoid surface roots. I don't want it to look like it's actually dug itself into the ground, otherwise how on earth would it walk? So I've got a nice spread of roots on this thing under here. I know I gave it a really good prune last year, but I've got a cross one here, so I want to remove that. We've got an up one here, I want to remove that, and I want to try and sink this, get this higher and higher up to try and increase that look of legs. Quite happy that it's healthy. We've got a back one here, so I need to remove this one here and just try and concentrate the root growth on stuff that's further down. In fact, this is the one time when you want the roots to be growing downwards, so you've got this everything down there. But I'm going to work my way around and see if I can cut those to make this as ent-like as possible. Well, you can tell it's spring because definitely the temperature's dropped another 5 or 6 degrees. It's definitely cold out here. So let's have a look and see what we can do about removing that. So now we can get our fingers between his legs, so to speak. This upper one, I don't want this upper one here because I don't want that visible. Okay, now what I've got to be careful is obviously not to take away too much roots. But again, it's also thinking I do want stuff lower down here to actually send out new roots as well, so that I can slowly remove these upper ones. It's this great big clump at the back which I don't want. Find out what we lost there, and that one. Already I've taken quite a lot of roots. I don't want to take any more away, but what I have been able to achieve is to clear this back side and give us just a little bit more leggage, so to speak. So this will go back into a pot, I think. That's probably the front actually, in which case, well, I don't really need to decide our arms yet. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that as the head there, which means I prefer to see the legs front on, which means that's going to be the new arm, which means we'll get rid of this one. There you go. What do you think? Ent number 1? Looks fairly entish to me. Yeah, I know we need to sort the legs out, these arms. I mean, they can be little fingers on hands. Fingers on hands. Yeah, okay, let's get that potted up. Let's see what we get from this little one. Again, I'm trying to optimise the little gap between the legs, so we can split these legs a bit better. Do you know, I've lost 10 kilos in the last 3 months. This is all for my daughter Tammy's wedding. I nearly forgot her name then. So there we go, very, very parallel straight legs, no hips, definitely no hips. This is a male Ent. Again, wiggly arms, happy with those. We could probably just cut back on that a little bit. No idea, something like that. I mean, yeah, less of a head, but I'm looking again at this legs. You never know what we can get developing as a head somewhere, who knows. They're all headless, let's be honest. I've got to try and open up the gap in those legs. So I'm going to try and poke something between his legs here. Now I found myself a little thing that I can shove in there. And here we go. So without further ado, we're going to push it between the gap. Hopefully we're going to see something come out. There we go. Get them apart. There we go.
Yellow card!
Look at that. There we go. Oh, lovely. Okay, now it's not a massive gap, but certainly enough. There we go, there's enough there. And probably, hopefully I can open that up a little bit further next year, who knows. I just know if I pull it apart too much, you'll lose a leg. So that's Ent number 2. I've decided to dump them all into water, because I'm going to put them in a little planting pot together and, I don't know, start the scene perhaps. Now I know a lot of the time we try to avoid crotch growth, but here you really want to get a good rub between the gap there, get all that algae out, anything that may cause problems between the crack there.
Red card!
Really, really try and show it as legs. Don't know what that is.
Yes, whatever you do, keep a straight face.
I've cut the roots down a bit, going to keep them curved down. With all of these, I'd like the legs to be visible so you can see it's walking towards you, but this one maybe, or big thin body with arms and something up there, don't know. That one will have to develop over time, I think. Well, that's 3 of them gurgling away in the bucket of water. I want to have a lounging Ent. So this one is going to be sitting, maybe it could be a fallen Ent, but that could make a good centerpiece. This one's got quite little short squat legs, so I might actually be doing a trunk chop on this one to bring the height of it down or something. Otherwise it's a very, very tall Ent. That's the laying down one, and not sure where to go with this one. This one may need a bit more development in the pot, but I sort of maybe see him over here, 2 arms here and a head there, or just a really craggy, I don't know, I want to see if I can try and make a leg that's coming out or something perhaps with one of these roots and just have it up that way. I don't know, I think this is going to be one that I'm going to leave open to yourselves. I'm going to plant it upright, something like that, and if it does anything at all, provides a bit of interest with all this interesting dead root work, so to speak. So yeah, okay, well I'm going to find myself a little pot, get them all into a planting medium, and let's see what it looks like. It's certainly not going to look like the Ent would though. Sounds like the ice cream van. Well, for those of you who are regular to my channel, you'll definitely recognise this is the pot that I salvaged all of Tony's silver birches out of, and for now, with an interesting rock, I'm just using this because it's deep, because I want more roots to go down, and I'm just going to place them basically. Probably the better option would be to put them into individual developmental pots, because I want the roots to go down, but I also want to have a bit of fun with this. Looks like that Ent's in quicksand. You need to see the gap between the thighs, so to speak. And of course the whole idea of this is I'm going to be trying to get them into just 2 arms, so a lot of this stuff will disappear, and this is not going to be the final pot, but it's always nice to try and put something into a setting so you at least get a feel for what you're trying to do. And I mean, I'm trying to imagine that there's Ents marching towards Isengard.
Last march of the Ents.
To fight against evil. What I don't want to do is end up tangling roots up. I might have to. And again, ultimately, if this one doesn't work out as a suitable looking ent, then I remember I'll have 4 oaks, definitely got 3 larches, got a couple of hawthorn. Truthfully, this probably won't be. Let's see what we can develop with these roots down here. Gonna need a little rock to prop him up, I think. Okay, well I've just jammed a rock there just to try and prop him up a bit. Assuming it's a him. Why would I assume it's a him? That's terrible of me. Just positioning these a little bit so at least what you're seeing is the legs coming towards you. On this one you've got his legs there. Some of them, because I'm going to have to wait for the roots that I've cut to develop more down, I can't lift them quite as high as I want to. But I've just got to keep reminding myself, this isn't me trying to set this up now. This is just getting a feel for whether they'll work. I mean, this guy's definitely going to work as an ent. And I think this one here got a good cleft there to show the legs. You know, some of the ents, if you read the Lord of the Rings, they've already been in position in the woods in Fangorn so long that they've stuck in position. So this could represent that. So, I don't know. Worst case, if this becomes nothing more than another Panasonic forest, I think it's going to be pretty impressive. So let's continue to dig this one in, and although there's this strong tendency to want to moss it, this is not a forest. Really, it isn't. It honestly isn't. Truly. What I do need to do though is find myself some little orkses, maybe to have little orkses in there. There's something to look for on eBay, perhaps. Where can I get some orkses at? Probably sort of that sort of size, probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, up to about that sort of height. Maybe get Gandalf in there as well. So we need to look at the arm structure a little bit. That's his head. His arms going wiggling up there. We want to get rid of this one going up here. We don't want height and that finger there. Don't want that one there. Again, probably do that. I'm not sure what to do, but I've got a funny feeling this isn't needed. So we'll get rid of that. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to be. You'll probably find we need to remove that. If that's the head, that needs to be removed. And hopefully we'll get his get little buds a lot closer in there. So that's him got his shouty head. Actually, let's be honest, we don't want that either, do we? Right. This, I really don't know what to do with this. I'm going to cut him back a bit. This one's got the legs. We don't know which way the legs are going to go with this one here. So, I'm just cutting, aren't I? I'll tell you what, I'll bring you back when I've cut them into what I think is going to happen and then explain what it's all about. Well, there you go. That's the starting of my Ents for Fangorn. This one's quite clear. Obviously the legs, a couple of arms, and this is going to be a craggy head, and I'm going to get my little die grinder later in the year or whatever and put a couple of eyeballs in there maybe, because everything doesn't have to be proportional. I was going back looking through the books, and the historical records of Ents show they do look a bit goofy.
I am an Ent.
Right, how did I do this one? Okay, look, he's got crossed legs. He's a bit, perhaps he's a drunk Ent. There's going to be the arms there, and here I've taken the whole top section off and a crag in there, a bit like that, and that'll be his head. This one's quite clear. At the moment he has no head, so this is going to be headless Nick with, these are like long fingers perhaps, I don't know. We'll wait and see how it develops. So I think you get a sense of an Ent there anyway. Now this one here with the strong muscular thighs, again I think he's going to be walking this way, but we're going to have an arm here, like a lower sort of arm down here, and a high arm here, and then just here I'm going to carve a face there with a big grin. And this one again, it's hard to say. I think he may be a static old fossilized Ent, but that's the oak sorted out, and I'm pretty excited about it, and hope you will be too. Now this is a long-term project. As you know, I started last year. In fact, let's have a look and see how they're looking right now, shall we? So looking here, there's an Ent Hawthorn here, and I can tell that because there's still wire all around it, and my intention is that wire will become part of those roots, but at the moment I'm still letting that grow out. Oh, we've got another Ent here. We've got a Larch Ent there again. I know because I've got the wire here, and what I've done with the wire, well, if you watch the video you'll see, but basically their legs are wired down there, and anyway those roots are going to get thicker, so let this stuff grow. Definitely got another whoops, sorry my life, whoops. In fact, I remember now, this Larch Ent is actually sitting on a rock.
Not anymore.
Put him back in there. Anyway, so that's 3 of the Larch Ents. Got another Larch one here. I think these are the 2 arms growing out, heads there. Definitely there's a lot more biting on the wire down there, but I had hoped I was going to be able to dig these up and sort of expose them a bit more, but truthfully they need to put on a lot more vigour, a lot more girth for them to be ready to be dug up as Ents. Then I've also got this other little hawthorny one there, and all I'll do is I'll remove what's dangling between the middle, so to speak, and that'll be another little Ent Hawthorn. So there's me Ents. Hopefully you've had a bit of fun and enjoyed the journey with me as we create and battle our way through Fangorn Forest. I think it's going to look fantastic. I just think it's going to take a few years, which is ideal, because the way you can make sure you don't miss it is to hit the old ding ding bell notifications, subscribe so that YouTube always knows to feed my new stuff to you, and if you think anyone else will fancy Fangorn Forest or some more Entish ways, then please share this. Otherwise, from Xavier, basking in the 3-degree heat of sunny Grantham, say thanks very much for taking the time to watch. All the best, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.